Hey guys, welcome to the Workshop Recorder. My name's Scott. I'm going to give you a little bit of a review of this Zvezda GAZ AA. Now this is an interesting old kit. I've built their earlier version and I liked it. And well, I don't like this so much. I mean, it's a good kit in general terms, but there's a lot to be desired here. It's going to build up into a decent little model, but I want to show you what I've found about this kit by way of beginning my build and give you quite or at least a little bit of review. Now, I don't like in-box reviews. In-box reviews don't really tell me much unless you show me the parts and how they fit and you put things together, and well, then you're getting into some review. So this, I hesitate to really call it a review. I'm just going to give you my thoughts and opinions on this kit insofar as I've built it. This is how far I've come. I've got the engine built, the frame together, and the front portion put together and weathered. Now, as a model, that's not too terribly bad. As a replica, as a scale model, they tried. They made some good efforts, and it could be a base for detailing, but it would take a lot of work if you're going to display that engine. Now, there's a lot of little nitpicks that you could do, a lot of little bits and pieces that you could, compared to pictures of real engines and these things. There's different variations, and there's major parts missing, like radiator hoses are missing. But overall, it generally follows the layout of the original Ford model AAA or the GAZ AA, which is a license-built copy. It generally follows the pattern okay. But if you're going to display the engine open and detail it, you might want to start with a different kit. I think there are other kits that are probably better. From what I can tell, the Mini Art kit has better detail. But what really miffs me about this kit is the texture on the surface. And I don't like that texture. You can't see it on camera, so I'll show you a picture. Well, actually, you probably can see that. There's a graininess to this. You can hear it. There's a graininess to these smooth metal surfaces that is unacceptable. Inside the cab on the floor, that graininess is probably most pronounced, so that doesn't bother me there. But on the sheet metal parts, you have to sand that stuff off if it bothers you that much, and it bothers me. So I've had to sand it, and you can see I've made at least this part smooth. Had to rescribe that seam there. There should actually be like a piano hinge along there. But yeah, the texture's troubling. The texture on the wooden parts, this being the bed, is also leaves something to be desired. Now, I will say it's better than the original Zvezda GAZ AA. Actually, I'm probably thinking about the ZIS truck. Anyway, it had wood grain texture on here, but it was all raised and you had to sand it off. So I was glad to see when I opened the kit up that the wood grain is impressed. You can see it on this board here. It's impressed in the wood. However, it's not very realistic. And so what I've done is I've taken some rough sandpaper and I've sanded all of these along with the grain of the wood, and it gives a bit better impression, I believe. And that included having to go through with a scriber and rescribe all the lines between the boards, and that'll give a better impression overall. There's a few sinkholes here and there. That's really annoying, but they're present. There's one on this door. On the other side, you had that handle there, which on this side resulted in the plastic contracting and giving a sinkhole. What's not easy to deal with are the louvers on the side of the engine housing on this little panel here. There's one of these on each side, and they look like they're just pieces of round stock cut in half and piled together. Not a very convincing job there. Now, if you were really interested in showing this with the engine exposed, you would have to raise a louver panel up or take it off, and you would want to get a photo etch replacement, which is a little bit tricky, but it can be done. Their photo etch is probably a very much ideal solution for this particular piece because it's just a piece of sheet metal, and it's a flimsy piece of sheet metal at that. But that's not very convincing. I don't like this. I've seen it executed better on other kits, and this is a major reason for me not to buy this kit again, to get something else. Other than that, the majority of the kit's actually not too terribly bad. It's a very complete kit. The wheels are very nice. The wheels are multi-part, very nice wheels. You do get the vinyl, these vinyl tires, and these vinyl tires are pretty hard actually. They feel more like that plastic you might get with those small little figures wargamers use. It's not quite as rubbery as other car kits, but still that makes it hard to work with. But so I say, you know, it's not a bad kit. However, it's an annoying kit. This is a piece of wood that supports the bed of the truck and rests upon the frame, and you can see in the light there's a big giant sinkhole that runs the whole length of this piece of wood. And that's annoying because, well, while it would be easy to fix simply by sanding it down, then you lose these brackets that are molded in. Those brackets are easy to fix too. They wrap around the board, and they wrap around the frame that it sits upon, something like that. However, I don't want to do that. I mean, you buy a kit, you want the parts to be decent. Also, on all these parts, there's significant flash lines and seam lines, and you're going to get that with most kits. But on these truck and armor kits and things like that, it's very important that every single piece that you use, every single flash line, be cleaned up. And so that's added work. And that's just something I actually find kind of therapeutic, to sit and work a kit and perfect the parts. But I don't want a big sinkhole on the side of a board. I don't want, you know, wood grain that's not accurate, things like that. So yeah, I think if I was going to build another Soviet AA kit or AAA or any of the Ford knockoffs, then I'm not going to go with the Zvezda kit. But I'm glad that I'm building it to see where its pitfalls are. Because, well, you know, now I know. So I just thought I'd share that with you in a very brief look, pardon me, very brief look at this kit, and I hope it was useful to you and that you found some value in it. Leave me a comment, subscribe to our channel, and I'll be continuing to share content here as much as I can. Thanks a lot for joining me today. Take care.